Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Pratmesh Pamani from Sports Trumpet, and we are obliged to have three cricket experts here, Mr. Rakesh, Mr. Virendra, and Mr. Suhas. So, my first question to Mr. Suhas is, what did you make of Rajasthan Royals' journey to the finals?
Rajasthan Royals' journey to the finals. Well, it's been a big learning curve for Sanju Samson, who's been in the IPL for such a long time. So, first of all, thank you very much for having me over here, and a very wonderful meeting, Mr. Virender and Rakesh as well, and of course you, Pratmesh. Rajasthan Royals have been a side which have always backed the talent that they have. They don't look for big stars, but what has been treat to watch is the way Josh Butler has given them the starts and then left it to someone like Devdutt Padikkal, who inherits a better scorecard to try and build on it. Because remember, Devdutt Padikkal is not batting where he usually does. He's now at number 4. So it allows the lower middle order as well to fire eventually. Hetmeyer is coming good, and this team's looking wonderful in terms of the batting prowess. And with Chahal and Ashwin in there, I think we have a wonderful contest ahead. So as far as the road's concerned, even the youngsters and the experienced have got the moments where they had to bounce back, and they have done that really, really well.
Okay, that is very well put. So, Rakesh, sir, would you like to add to this?
My take on Rajasthan would be that no doubt Rajasthan has played well this time around, but their key player, as per me, was Josh Butler. So whenever he has fired, the team has done well and they put on a very good score. But if you check on other players, like if I say Sanju Samson, like he has been consistent always. If you go by the trend of IPL, he always be consistent in the first 6 or 7 matches, the first half of the tournament, and suddenly you see a trend of scoring rate that goes down for Sanju Samson. And I think that is a kind of a problem for, as per what my understanding says, because you cannot have every time Josh Butler to make the big scores for you. Okay, so if a law of averages catches up with Josh Butler and if it doesn't perform, and he gets out with a low string score, then you are in a big trouble. How you will post a good score? That is a big question mark. So overall, the team has done well, but the combination of the spinners that they have, Ashwin and Chahal, that has been a revolution for them this time around. And sometimes the Sangakkara, who is the coach for the team, has made some decision to send Ashwin up the order. He was never utilized by any other teams by sending him up the order and try to finish the games and try to handle that pressure. But this time around, Ashwin has been doing quite well that thing. So that is another good part. The concern, another concern that looks to me is that form of Prasidh Krishna. No doubt in the last match he did well, but overall the reputation that Prasidh Krishna brings to Rajasthan Royals as a player who has played international cricket as well and in the domestic circuit also has been going well. But at times he has not fired for Rajasthan Royals. So every time you see Trent Bolt is always under the pressure. He's always under the pump. So this again makes a standing question for me, because if you see the opponent this time around, Gujarat Titans. Now if you check top 4, 5, all of them have played and all of them have fired at certain stages of the tournament, right? So how you will stop them? They will have to strategize something. Bolt will be the key for Rajasthan. Let me be very clear on that. If Bolt gets a swing on the Ahmedabad track that was previously used, and if the same wicket is there, might be a little bit of spin would be there, but what we saw was high bounce on that wicket. And if Trent Bolt with that bounce and he gets swing as well, and if they can get early breakthrough 2 wickets at least in the power play, then you can say that Gujarat might come under the pressure. But altogether, the toss, as per me, will be very important in this match, because whenever it's a high pressure game, a semi-final or a final of a tournament, you bat first, you make a good score of 180 on the board, the chasing team is always under the pressure and is always under the pump. And in that pressure, the chasing team does tend to lose the games as well. So let's see what happens. But toss is a very crucial in this game, and Rajasthan's opening bowlers, that is Trent Bolt, has to come good this time around. And also I think Prasidh Krishna will be an important pick for this. And the death overs, Obed McCoy, that holds the key for them.
Yes, sir. So as we know, the last match, there was a lot of pace and bounce in the track. So Prasidh Krishna was able to perform at his very best. So, Virendra, sir, can you tell us something that would you bring in Loki funguses if you are Gujarat Titans coach?
Yeah, obviously he played some matches there as well for Gujarat. And I think he's a good player, he's a good bowler. So obviously I can bring him and he's fast, which we need. Which is Hardik Pandya is not fast. So I mean basically you need a fast bowler. If you want to play in like Gujarat track is very good track for fast bowlers. So if he want to take him, is the coach call if he taking or not. But my suggestion is he needs to be played as a lucky is a fast bowler. And particularly Rajasthan, Gujarat have already, he got 12 wickets as well. And they more depends on the Mohammad Sami and Rashid Khan. I think that's two key players for them. And then yes, they all got 10 wickets. Obviously, man, like if it's depend on them as well because Rashid Khan they counting as the all rounder. So I think
So the next question is to you again. What have you made of Hardik Pandya's captaincy debut this season? Like, has he performed?
I think he's
Yes.
He's aggressive captain basically. He's very aggressive captain. Basically because of his all-rounder, he knows about batting, he knows the bowling, and his changing is very good in field. On the field, he's like changing very quickly. When he's thinking like when he's 1-6 going on, 1-4 going on, he just change very quickly in the field. And that's why they are in final. That's the main thing as well. Key things is his captainship of Hardik Pandya. And I think Gary Krishnan is a very smart coach. Gary Krishnan, because he given World Cup to India as well. 2011. A very smart coach. Basically, he is thinking. His coaching is very quiet and like he coaching like he's not aggressive anytime. Very Krishnan is very cool now, always. And second thing is Nera have a good experience as well there. So he's helping out to fast bowlers and everything. So that's key points to Gujarat Titans. And runs wise, Hardik Pandya got 453 runs as an all rounder. He's nearly like a batsman runs. So and David Miller 449 and Subman Gill 438. So these three scores is good. And in Rajasthan Royals, what happened? Like Josh Butler got 824 runs, and then Sanju Samson and David Padikkal they were halfway of Josh Butler. So that means like one player is doing, very good, and other players is not very close to them as well. So that's the reason I think chances is less for Rajasthan Royals. If Josh Butler is not works today, then it's difficult for Rajasthan Royals. I think they depend on them. I think so. Gujarat Titans have more chance to win. I'm thinking. Because they have all-rounders as well. Rashid Khan can play, and that's Hardik Pandya is an all-rounder as well. And then it's David Miller, Subman Gill, and Saha. Saha was in form as well in starting of the matches. So these three players and Rahul Tiwet, obviously. So we can't underestimate in Gujarat's team this year. Then they're doing very well throughout season. So captainship is most important things. If you handle the player nicely on the ground, on the field, and they can win it.
Okay, sir. So, Suhas, I'll ask you the next question. What do you think will be the outcome when Rashid Khan faces Shimron Hetmyer?
Rashid Khan faces Shimron Hetmyer or Shimron Hetmyer faces Rashid Khan's spin?
Shimron Hetmyer comes in to face Rashid Khan. Like, first of all, if you're Hardik Pandya, would you keep Rashid Khan back, hold a couple of overs back for him, for Shimron Hetmyer, or would you play him up front against Josh Butler?
The matchups, they tell you an interesting story indeed. But I would say, looking at what Hardik Pandya has done all throughout, he'll go for the kill. He will use Rashid Khan in the middle overs as well and try and, if he's getting some good rhythm, try and finish him off there, not hold him back for the death, because he believes in his death bowlers. So I think Rashid Khan wouldn't wait up for this matchup. If Shimron Hetmyer is out there in the middle while it's the middle overs, then it just so happens. But if I were Hardik Pandya, I'd be looking at the day and saying, if my best bowler is in rhythm, let's give him the 4 overs, because middle overs is crucial. And mind you, somebody is a middle over specialist in the counterpart as well. You have Shahil over there. So I genuinely believe this game is going to be as much the top 6 overs, the first 6 overs, but also about how you play the middle overs. Because towards the end, both these teams have fantastic hitters. So the middle over phase is going to be very exciting. And that is exactly why I want Rashid Khan to dominate it. If I were Hardik Pandya, I'd go with Rashid. And one more thing, this was of course an answer to your question. Virendra sir mentioned that Lockie Ferguson might be back in the side. Lockie Ferguson, of course, he's a big match player and he's seen it all. So finale of the IPL doesn't get bigger than this. What are the four options for them? Then the four foreign players. Rashid will definitely be there. Alzari Joseph is knocking the doors again. There isn't a reason to be dropping him. Now, if you have Lockie Ferguson back again and Miller is a direct pick anyways, do you think Wade will sit out?
Could you repeat the last part, please?
Do you think Wade will sit out?
That's if Rajasthan Royals want to win, they have to put Hetmeyer on the front, basically like on opening or one down somewhere. He have to come opening, I think, because if Josh Butler and if they're giving good start, that will be totally different things for Rajasthan players. Because when he's coming in, pressure is very difficult.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
But it would be better to play Wade and replace Joseph with Ferguson. It's a tough call, given both have been in top form throughout. But Ferguson has conceded a lot of runs, but he's at the pitch where there's pace and bounce. I guess Ferguson would be a better asset than Alzari Joseph. Rakesh sir, I'd like to ask you a question. Who do you think will come
I'd
out
like to, Prathamesh, just give me 1 minute. I'd like to add a couple of points to what Suhas said right now. See, for Gujarat, I believe that Lockie Ferguson should be back in this match. The reason being, because if I compare Alzari Joseph on the pace front and also according to the pitch conditions, like it has a quite good bounce. So I feel rather than Alzari Joseph, I would rather prefer Lockie Ferguson, because if you see the relayed wicket on Eden Gardens, whenever he used to play for KKR, he used to get very sharp and stiff bounces, right? So I think that will be a crucial call for getting in Ferguson in this game. And if he is bowling on this hard deck and it's the same deck, then definitely it will create a tough problem for Rajasthan Royals facing his 4 overs. He will be on song for sure. And second point I would like to make is, I think all the three people will be shocked to what point I'm going to make now is that in Gujarat Titans, I would like to see one more change happening. Instead of Sai Kishore, I would like Krishnappa Gautam to be in that team. Why? The reason I'll tell you. If you see Rajasthan Royals batting lineup, right? You have Yashasvi Jaiswal, who is a left-hander. You have a Devdutt Padikkal, who is a left-hander. And you see a Shimron Hetmeyer, who is a left-hander, right? So 3 left-handers you have. And if you have an off-spinner, and that too a capable off-spinner in form of Krishnappa Gautam, who can give you an additional backup of batting as well, in case of a scenario if it is required, right? And his 4 overs will be crucial. Like if you see that if he gets 2 wickets also, in this, let's say he gets Hetmeyer and he gets Padikkal, right? It will be a complete down for Rajasthan Royals because 2 good informed players, he has got the wicket, right? And secondly, the leverage that Hardik Pandya can get in this is that if you see the matchup of Rashid Khan versus Josh Butler, Butler has not been that comfortable against Rashid Khan whenever he has played, right? So Hardik Pandya will have that leverage to ball at least Rashid Khan if Butler is there on the crease in the power play itself. He can give it a shot of 2 overs. And just imagine the scenario that in the power play, Rashid Khan bowls 2 overs. He gets Josh Butler out, right? So it's a big problem then. It's a big void. And in that itself, we just take a case where even Sanju Samson gets out. Because if you see, Sanju Samson is no doubt a good player of spin bowlers. But against Rashid Khan, he is also not that comfortable, right? So 2 big wickets, if Rashid gets, then you can get in your Krishnappa Gautam in the middle overs to bowl that 4 overs to the left-handers. In that you will have your Padikkal and you will have your Hetmeyer as well over there, right? So 2 batsmen, and Krishnappa Gautam is a very intelligent bowler. He has been playing in Karnataka Premier League also, and he has an IPL experience. And not to forget that previously he was with CSK. So he would have taken
Gautam is
out the
doing good.
brains of MSD Stephen Fleming as well. And he, in the matches whichever Gautam has played right now, he has played quite well, right? So it will be a big surprise factor if they get in Krishnappa Gautam today against Rajasthan Royals. That change is not expected. Like if we go and ask anyone that would you prefer a Krishnappa Gautam into a final, people would tend to agree. But if I am being the captain or even the coach for Gujarat Titans, I would like to always add this X factor into a final game. That will always create, like you can say, a pressure kind of situation in the opposite team, because they did never expect that you will be facing Krishnappa Gautam, an off spinner. You have a 3 left-handers and you are bowling to an off spinner, right? You're bowling an off spinner. They would have never expected. So that X factor can create a big impact onto the match. That is a big point right now. Secondly, for Gujarat Titans, if you see all the games that they have played, they are never dependent on 1 or 2 players. Like every match you say, you have a different player who is scoring the runs for you, different players who are finishing games for you. Till now, we have not seen Tewatia finishing a game. Who knows that a big one is due, and we might see in the finale he's completing the game for Gujarat Titans, and that too against the same side for which he used to play. Right. So the big advantage that Gujarat Titan has, that all the players have played in the tournament properly, and all of them have a proper batting practice, and all of them are in form. So overall, if you check both the teams on paper and all the performance of this whole IPL, you always feel that Gujarat Titans is more threatening side right now than the Rajasthan Royals. Right. So these were some points that I wanted to add on. I think Krishnappa Gautam's point that I brought in, I think many people won't agree to that fact. But that was an analytical point of view that
Rakesh,
I had
Rakesh, he is doing very good in Ranji Trophy as well, basically, and he is good player basically, and I think that's like Sai Kishore is it's okay. I mean, he's not that much he's done for this, the IPL. He's doing good in Ranji Trophy or one day cricket or 2020 in like first class cricket. So he said Mustaq Ali and one days, but I think for IPL it's totally different things.
No,
And
Sai
different
Kishore,
level
no
as well.
doubt, sir. On the TNPL front, he has done very well. I don't deny to that point. But the thing is that Sai Kishore is a left-arm spinner.
For
he's a left-arm spinner.
For 3 lefty batsmen, you need a off spinner. Yeah.
So you need a offie, right? So left-arm spinner and Rashid Khan, almost a kind of a same thing, that both will bring the ball inside to the left-hander, right?
Yeah.
So now why not make a change and getting Krishnappa Gautam as that?
Yeah, 100%. That's right.
Yeah, Suhas, you were raising your hand.
Yeah, so I would just want to tell you and almost everyone, if after that answer somebody believes Krishnappa Gautam shouldn't be in the side, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm completely sold on that idea, because out of the 3 left-handers you mentioned, 2 can change the game, 1 can take the game away from you within a span of 5-6 balls. So Rashid Khan, even if he's bowling the googly, he'll be doing it with a quicker action, something quicker. But if you want to purchase the wicket of a left-hander and play with the ego of someone like Hetmyer, bring that Krishnappa Gautam in. He'll float the ball up, let him turn it away. He'll get more turn, in fact, compared to, say, Rashid Khan, whose stock delivery is not the googly. Now, having said that, if the 3 left-handers could be effaced quite early from the equation, Gujarat Titans have a huge chance. It's not a big chance, but a huge chance, because we have realized that Rajasthan Royals is a team which is top dependent. If the engine room doesn't fire, the middle order bears the brunt. They'll have to come out of that rut. And Sanju Samson is one of the best hitters of the game, but he'll be batting differently because the situation would be different. You'd be expected to stay there till the end and create that launch pad in case there is a collapse up top. And there isn't a better way of creating a collapse up top rather than having the best bowlers in your side to cause that. 3 left-handers, go with Krishnappa Gautam. I'm so.
Actually, Suhas, I'd like to disagree a bit. Like, if when given the opportunity, Ravichandran Ashwin and Riyan Parag both have stepped up in the middle order for Rajasthan Royals. So it's basically Butler has played most of the game throughout the innings, and as a result, they've not gotten a lot of chance to play. But whenever asked, they have stepped up. So I do think they are a top dependent team, but if Butler doesn't fire tonight, then I do feel that Padikkal or Ashwin or even Parag can come in and play a long innings and help Rajasthan
Rakesh,
force a big.
Rakesh,
Yeah.
what
Virendra sir.
about Jayant Yadav?
Jayant Yadav, sir, I would not prefer him right now.
Hmm?
Reason being, because Jayant Yadav has not played a single game in an IPL, and to directly bring him in this very high pressure and a high intense game. So
But this is India player, no? Jayant
no,
Yadav is
no
India
doubt,
player.
sir. I'm not
So
see. I'm not
basically,
doubting.
it's
I'm
yeah.
not doubting on Jayant
On
Yadav
on
in that
on
front.
on that time on there, I think if me as well as a first class cricketer, if they someone put me in the game, I will be ready basically anytime.
No, no.
So if they India player, they should be ready.
Virendra
They should
sir,
be ready
I'm
for.
see my only point right now to bring in Krishnappa Gautam is because
Yeah.
you see Krishnappa Gautam's variations that he has. See, if you see,
Yeah.
Jayant
Yeah.
Yadav is a pure conventional off spinner bowler, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah.
that pace variation or anything. But if
Yeah.
you check Krishnappa Gautam, he has a variation. He has
Lots
a
of
pace variation,
yeah.
a flight variation, and he can even drift the ball as well, right? So that
Yeah.
actually gives an edge to Krishnappa Gautam. Secondly,
Yeah.
that Krishnappa Gautam has at least played some game, right? And for me, as an expert, I would always think that which player has a game time behind him. The more game time you have, the more you are confident, and the more
Yeah.
chances are there that you perform over there, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so that is the only reason that I'm bringing in Krishnappa
Yeah.
Gautam right now. And additionally, if you need someone to fire, like you want to use him, a floating batsman who can hit long, right? Krishnappa Gautam gives you that leverage as well, not Jayant
Mm.
Yadav. Jayant Yadav is a kind of a stable batsman. Like if you need a single doubles kind of a game, Jayant Yadav is very good at that. But if you need to score big in final overs, or maybe on top, you just give a floater batsman, go and get a big hit, right? So Krishnappa Gautam is quite capable to do that. So these are some 3 or 4 points on which basis, as a captain or a coach, I would prefer to have Krishnappa Gautam into the team rather than Jayant Yadav.
Okay. And what about Kuldeep Yadav? He can play?
Sir, Kuldeep Yadav is with the Delhi Capitals, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Rajasthan Royals is
Kuldeep Sen,
showing.
sir.
Kuldeep
Kuldeep
Sen.
Sen. No, sir. I don't think that Kuldeep Sen has a good chance of playing because he is a right-hand bowler. You already have Prasidh Krishna with you, right? You have a Trent Bolt, and you need a someone in a depth. But Kuldeep Sen is a pure pace bowler, and you need a bowler who can do a change of pace in the last 4 crucial overs that are there. And I think that is a big thing, that why they have picked up Obed McCoy, and McCoy has been delivering time and time in for the Rajasthan Royals. And not to forget that he has done the same thing in the CPL as well, right?
True.
So that is a track record that brings him to IPL, and on the IPL front, he has done that, right? So I don't think Kuldeep Sen right now has that chance to play. Yeah, if in a case they see that Prasidh Krishna is injured or is not match fit, in that case, you can get in a Kuldeep Sen. But otherwise, I don't feel that Rajasthan will make that big change right now.
Yes, what would you like to add to this?
I would just like to add on to that. The fact that Prasidh Krishna was able to play the game after being batted for 3 sixes. He was so good mentally that he was able to turn things around in a matter of 2 days. I don't see that change coming in the final as well. I think they'll stick with Prasidh Krishna. Kuldeep Sen, he gets a game or no, mostly no this time around, but he's been one of the biggest finds of the tournament as far as I'm concerned.
Suhas, I'd like to ask you the next question. If Rajasthan Royals do win the toss, do you think they should stick to batting first, because that has been successful for them this season? So would you, if you are Sanju Samson, would you win the toss and choose to bat?
It's a very tough one, to be very honest, and especially against Gujarat Titans, who have their progress in chasing. If Gujarat Titans look inwards and say, it doesn't really matter if it's the final, I'm going to back my strengths, and that means we're going to chase, and we won't have the pressure of chasing even if it is a finale, then you're just playing into them. Having said that, if you want to look at it from the other way, where you said, I'm Rajasthan Royals, I look at my strengths, and we want Butler to give us a good start, bat without pressure this time around, no single number to chase, then I'll win the toss and bat first. 174 is the average total, and you need somewhere around that. You might say we need a cushion of a 10 or 20, especially with Ravichandran Ashwin feeling more confident, Chahal feeling more confident to float the ball when you have that cushion. But I would say look for 170 at least. That is the minimum you need to get on this kind of a track.
And Virendra, so would you like to add to this?
I think it's very difficult to chase in Narendra Modi Stadium. We just played some matches there. It's it's on morning time as well. It's very difficult wicket. I think it's 160, 70 score is enough for if they're doing in first inning, it's very difficult to chase in night. But don't know. I mean, both team is very good, but at least they need 190 runs if they want to win, because it's unpredictable. Can't say anything. If someone's bat well, they can chase it, but it's difficult wicket. And something is, the structure is very difficult as well. So that's the reason we played like 3 first-class games there as well this year, and some 2020 practice match 2020 as well. So because of lights, is the very difficult lights. They have a different structure there. Like the lights is on the round, it's not on the top. So it's totally different things. But I think these international players, they used to do this all things, but still,
It is
wicket is very difficult in night. Yeah, very difficult.
The Ahmedabad lights, Virendra sir, that you are talking. No, it's somewhat like UAE's the Dubai ground,
same.
Ring of Fire.
What happened, Rakesh bhai? They given contract to the that's Atlantic or something. They all the company made this. No one's cricketer behind this. So the stadium
I'm just
is
saying
like
that it's someone like UAE's
this
Ring of Fire.
some things is they made like the American rugby stadium or something like that. So they have a stadium. The dressing room is very high. You have to go 100 steps up to go in dressing rooms, and from dressing room you can't see anything from there. That's the thing. You need to be sitting dugout for that all things.
Pratmesh, I'll just make a quick point to the question that you had to Suhas. Like, see, if I'm a Rajasthan Royals captain, if I'm Sanju Samson, if I win the toss, definitely I'll bat first, because all over the tournament, my team has always batted first. They have put on a good score and they have defended as well, right? So, and that too, also being a big final right now, a high pressure and high intense game. Why would I take that pressure or keep my team in a pressure to chase? Okay, if I win the toss, if I am Sanju Samson, definitely I'll go out, I'll bat first. And mind you that Josh Butler scores whatever he has scored this time around in the tournament, all the big scores almost has come when he's batting first. But if you check while batting second, he has been under pressure at sometimes and he tends to give his wicket away, right? So that all, considering all that factors, if I am Sanju Samson, I'll go out. If I win toss, I'll bat first. As simple as that.
And sir, as you had mentioned, Krishna Bhagavatam as an offie against left-handers, would you hold back Ashwin till David Miller or Rahul Tewata come in, or would you bowl him against? Would you use his carom balls as a weapon against, let's say, Hardik Pandya or someone?
See, Hardik Pandya, let me be very clear that this time around, the way he has been batting, he has been sensational. And whenever he is hitting, he's hitting it very clean. So if he's bowling an off spin or a carom ball, I think that won't make difference to a player like Hardik Pandya. Secondly, Miller this time around that I have marked is that Miller has been very consistent against spin playing this time. Otherwise, in the past, all the records you see, the maximum times the wickets of Miller has been taken by a spinner, and he was not that comfortable. And overall strike rate also goes down. But this time around, Miller has been fantastic against spinners as well, and he has been harsh on them. And he has been scoring with like a good strike rate as well. But the problem that Rajasthan has, that they have 2 spinners only. Like when Miller comes to batting, who knows how many runs are left to be scored in case the Gujarat is batting second. And when he's batting first, Gujarat is batting first, you don't know that when Miller will come. Let's assume last 5 overs and your UZ and Ash are already done with their overs. What you will do? You can't take a big risk of giving Riyan Paraga over to bowl to a player like Miller. He will go bonkers and bananas at all times. So that is a bit of concern. There is a question mark to that, and that will be a kind of risk that Rajasthan is willing to take or not. That will be a big call for them. That is what I understand right now.
Okay, sir. So, Virendra, so I'd like to ask you a last question. Pick one winner
Yeah.
of the IPL season, RR or GT.
Sorry?
Who do you think is going to lift the IPL title tonight, RR or GT?
I think G. Yeah. Gujarat Titans. Yeah.
To us, would you like to tell us your team?
Analytically, or what comes to the heart?
And Rakesh, please.
All right.
I'll definitely go with Gujarat Titans. As per what I analyze the game, I analyze the team and analyze the players. I feel Gujarat Titans has a very high chance of winning the game. And the way you see that Hardik Pandya, he has been a revelation this time around as a captain, actually. And the way he has marshaled his troops. So that will get an advantage to Gujarat Titans. And also being a captain, he has, whenever he has batted extremely well. He has not taken any risk-free games he has played, and then in spite of that, he has scored the runs, right? So I think Gujarat Titans.
Okay. So thank you all for joining, and we hope for a great final tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you.
everyone. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the chance.